2 pairs of leggings. Same recycled nylon, same 4-way stretch, same buttery hand feel when you run your thumb across them. One costs $28, the other costs $98. The difference isn't the fabric. Independent testers have put these two side by side and struggled to tell them apart by feel alone. The difference is a small logo on the waistband and a marketing budget that has your name on the invoice. We pulled fabric content, seam construction, ownership records, and customer complaint data on 12 of the biggest names in women's clothing. No sponsorships, no affiliate links. Nobody paid to be on this list or to be kept off it. 7 of these brands are selling you a feeling. 5 are selling you clothes, and the number 1 brand on the Worth It list is better made than the $98 legging it quietly copies, for a third of the price. But we'll get there. Because the number 1 brand robbing you blind is probably folded in your drawer right now. And when I show you the receipt, you're going to want to argue with me. Let's start at 7. Number 7, Sweaty Betty. London, 1998. Founder Tamara Hill Norton built this brand before the word athleisure existed. Premium leggings for women, sold at a premium price, and for years they earned it. Customers who bought power leggings back in the 2000s will tell you those pairs still hold their shape today. Then something changed. On Pissed Consumer, Sweaty Betty now carries a 1.9 star rating, and only around 1 in 6 customers say they'd recommend it. The complaints rhyme: holes forming after a handful of wears, waistbands losing their grip, sizing that shrank between one order and the next. More than one long-time buyer noticed the label now lists a different country of manufacture than the pair they loved. And here's the detail the brand doesn't advertise. The beloved original power legging got quietly redesigned into a version fans nicknamed a downgrade. Thinner, less supportive, no longer the squat-proof workhorse that built the brand's name. When your signature product's biggest critics are the people who used to evangelize it, that's not a rough patch. That's a decision. So what changed? Follow the ownership. In 2021, Sweaty Betty was bought by Wolverine Worldwide, the same conglomerate that owns Merrell and Saucony. Scroll the reviews and you'll find the same sentiment over and over. The gear was better when the founder still ran it. At $90 to $150 a pair, runners on forums have a blunter verdict. The build quality now matches brands that cost half as much. They keep naming one brand in particular. Hold that name. It comes back later on the other list. Verdict. A great brand that got bought, thinned out, and never dropped its price to match. You're paying 2015 prestige for 2025 quality. Number 6. Fjällräven. You know the Fox, you know the little boxy backpack that's on every campus and in every airport. The name is Swedish for Arctic Fox, and that recognition is the entire business. It's doing a lot of heavy lifting the fabric can't. Fjällräven's whole identity is a material called G1000, a dense polycotton blend. It's genuinely lovely to look at. It's also heavy, hot, and slow to dry. And on pure performance, it gets outclassed by synthetic membranes that cost a fraction as much. Technical reviewers have been polite but clear about where this fabric actually belongs. Walking to work, not up a mountain. Now here's the part almost nobody who owns one knows. G1000 isn't finished when you buy it. It's designed to be rubbed down with a bar of Greenland wax. A paraffin and beeswax block Fjällräven sells separately, which you melt into the fabric to increase its water resistance. Read that again. You pay $310 for a Greenland jacket, and then you're expected to iron wax into it yourself to make it perform. That's not a technical feature. That's a heritage ritual with a price tag. Verdict. Beautiful, iconic, and priced like performance gear, it isn't. If you want the look, wait for a sale. If you want function, almost anything synthetic outperforms it straight off the rack. No wax required. Number 5, Alo Yoga. The name stands for Air, Land, Ocean. What it should stand for is Instagram, because Alo built an empire on one thing: the look. Clean lines, the right influencers, a celebrity gifting machine so effective that half its marketing budget essentially walks the red carpet for free. For a while, the feel matched the feed. Not anymore, and it's Alo's own fans saying it. Across Reddit, TikTok, and review sites, once loyal Alo shoppers are walking. The complaints are almost boringly consistent. Leggings pilling after a few wears, seams coming undone, fabric thinning and losing shape. Buyers describe repurchasing the exact same style and getting something that feels like a different, cheaper garment. Customer service earns its own paragraph in most of these stories. Slow, rigid, and unhelpful even when the item showed up faulty. Here's what makes it sting. These aren't $20 leggings you shrug off. Alo's popular pairs run $128 and up. And there's a quiet irony in the reporting on Alo's slide. The brands consistently named as beating it now on quality for money are the cheap ones, including a $30 label we'll crown near the end of this video. Verdict: you're buying the feed, not the fabric. The aesthetic is immaculate. The garment underneath stopped keeping up. Number 4. Arc'teryx. Let's talk about that logo because it tells you everything. It's the skeleton of Archaeopteryx, the first feathered dinosaur, the fossil that sits right on the line between reptile and bird, a symbol of evolution. And no brand in the outdoors has evolved its price tag more aggressively. Here's the twist that makes Arc'teryx different from everything else on this list. The markup might actually be recoverable. Gorpcore turned this mountaineering brand into a streetwear status symbol, and that hype created something rare: the strongest resale market in outdoor apparel. A used Arc'teryx shell holds its value like almost nothing else you can wear. The dead bird became a currency, which is exactly why paying full retail is the amateur move. A basic tee is $80, a light hoodie $300, a shell $500 to $800, pricing engineered for alpinists in genuinely dangerous conditions, now paid by people wearing it to brunch. But the brand runs its own outlet, its own certified used resale program, and the discounts are real. And here's the ownership wrinkle worth knowing. Arc'teryx isn't the scrappy Canadian house it feels like. It's owned by Amer Sports, a group majority controlled by the Chinese giant Anta, the same parent behind Salomon. Verdict: the only brand here where the smart buyer wins. Never pay retail, buy it used or outlet, wear it, and the logo tax practically refunds itself. Pay full price and you're just funding the flex. If a brand you own has already shown up on this list, and the algorithm says it probably has, subscribe. We take apart the clothing industry every week, and we don't take a dime from any of them. The last 3 are the ones that start fights. Number 3, Aritzia. Aritzia calls itself everyday luxury. It's right there on the branding. And the Super Puff, that glossy status coat that took over every campus and city sidewalk, runs anywhere from $200 to $450. Before we test the luxury part, here's a trick most shoppers never clock. Walk into an Aritzia and it feels like a curated boutique stocking a dozen different designer labels. Wilfred, Babaton, TNA, Sunday Best. They look like separate brands. They're all Aritzia. Everyone is a house label the company invented to make a single store feel like an entire fashion district. It's a beautiful illusion, and it's the first clue that you're buying an experience, not a garment. Now, the luxury. Shoppers have documented a quality slide for years. Cheaper fabrics, the same silhouettes recycled season after season. And then there's the receipt that went viral. A $450 Super Puff whose zipper failed in under a year. When the owner asked Aritzia to make it right, the answer was no, because the coat carries no meaningful warranty. She ended up climbing out of a $500 jacket over her head because the zipper wouldn't budge. The comments filled with the same story, and one unflattering phrase about that model's zippers kept repeating. Verdict: luxury pricing on a fast fashion clock with no warranty to catch you when the hardware goes. You're renting the look for a season and hoping the zipper survives it. Number 2, Moncler. If Aritzia is playing at luxury, Moncler is the real thing. And that's exactly the problem. A Moncler puffer runs $1,000 to $2,000. The most expensive one we found, $3,195. And here's the origin nobody expects. Moncler started in 1952 as a French mountaineering supplier. The name is just a shortening of Monastier de Clermont, the alpine village where it was born. It once outfitted expedition teams and Olympic skiers. Then, in the 2000s, a new owner made a cold, deliberate decision. Stop being a gear company. Become a fashion house. Today, Moncler shows at Fashion Week, and the expedition line it still brags about isn't even for sale. It abandoned the mountain on purpose. The numbers are unkind to the price. A North Face jacket with comparable fill retails around $250. A Patagonia with higher fill power and a lifetime guarantee runs about $450. Moncler's down, meanwhile, is certified by an outfit called Diste. The catch: Dist is owned by Moncler. They grade their own homework, and the markup isn't a mystery. Industry breakdowns show luxury product cost gets multiplied by roughly 2.5 on the way to the retailer, who then stacks their own margin on top. The warmth barely moves. The price triples. Verdict: the purest logo tax in this entire video. Identical warmth exists for a quarter of the money. You're buying the patch, and the patch knows it. Number 1 on the brands robbing you blind. Lululemon. I know, this is the one you didn't want to see. The brand in your drawer, the one you defend at brunch, the leggings you genuinely love. I'm not here to tell you they feel bad. I'm here to tell you what you're paying for. Start with the name because it's one of the strangest stories in retail. The founder has openly said he chose a name packed with the letter L for a specific reason. He believed it would read as authentically, unmistakably North American to overseas buyers, since the hard L sound is tricky in some languages. The name is, by his own account, a marketing device. That's the company in a nutshell. Lululemon invented the $98 legging and then spent 15 years convincing a generation that $98 is simply what leggings cost. Financial analysts don't dress it up. They describe Lululemon as a brand with the pricing power to pass its costs straight to you, and by fundamental measures overvalued. That's not an insult. That's the model working as designed. The Align fabric is genuinely nice, but it's a nylon spandex blend, and the gap between what it costs to make and what you pay is the widest on this list that isn't a fur-trimmed parka. The proof is the entire dupe economy that exists for one reason only. The original is so overpriced that copying it became a business plan. And notice something: 3 of the 7 brands we just tore down, Lululemon, Aritzia, and Arc'teryx, are Canadian. That's not a coincidence. Canada has quietly become the capital of the premium price closet. Take an everyday item, wrap it in a lifestyle, and charge like it's an investment. Verdict: the leggings are good, the markup is the point. And the best part of this whole video is that the brand which beats Lululemon at its own game is sitting at number 1 on the other list. So that's the wall of shame. 7 brands where the number on the tag is mostly logo, mostly marketing, mostly a story you're funding. Now the good news. For every one of those, there's a brand doing the honest version. The same fabric, the same function, sometimes better construction, without the tax. Here are 5 worth every dollar. And this time we count up to the one that dethrones the sacred cow, worth at number 5, Uniqlo. Everyone files Uniqlo under cheap mall basics. Here's what they miss. ARism and heat tech are co-developed with Toray, a Japanese materials science giant. And Toray doesn't just spin base layer thread, it's one of the primary carbon fiber suppliers for Boeing's aircraft. The same company engineering the composites in a jet's wings is engineering the fabric against your skin. That's why a $20 AIRism layer wicks and cools like a garment costing 3 times as much. For sun protective tees, packable warmth, and the layer that lives closest to you, this is the best fabric science per dollar in any mall on earth. It's thin and it's a layering piece, not an abrasion tank. Buy it, knowing that, and it's unbeatable. Verdict: aerospace-grade materials science at grocery store prices. Start here and never overpay for a base layer again. Number 4. Decathlon. Remember the name those runners kept dropping back at Sweaty Betty? Here it is. Now, Decathlon is the largest sporting goods retailer on the planet, and it barely advertises, which is exactly why it can sell real performance without the premium. But don't mistake cheap for shallow. This is a genuine engineering company. It designs and builds its own products through dozens of in-house passion brands, employs its own product engineers, and even holds patents. Its pop-up tent that pitches in 2 seconds is a patented piece of design that spawned 100 imitations. Reviewers call it the IKEA of the outdoors, and the range does everything: studio, road, and trail, with leggings in the $13 to $25 range and genuine merino base layers at roughly half what the wool brands charge. I'll be straight. Quality control is a little more variable than the premium names, and the supply chain draws the same scrutiny most cheap fashion does. But on function per dollar, nothing here touches it. Verdict: the budget champion the rest of the world already shops. Studio to summit, priced like it actually wants you to buy it. Number 3. Rab. This isn't a marketing name. Rab is a person. Rab Carrington, a British climber who, according to the story the brand was built on, got stranded in Argentina in the 1970s during a dock strike and to kill time learned to sew sleeping bags from a local craftsman. He came home to Sheffield and started hand-filling down bags in his attic in 1981. Every piece this company makes still carries that DNA. Gear made by a climber who couldn't find gear good enough, so he built his own. That heritage shows up in the product. Rab builds technical sun hoodies and shells to the same standard as the brands charging a premium, then prices them honestly because it earned its name in the unglamorous world of British hill walking instead of on a runway. The hero pieces run $65 to $75, and reviewers doing the cost per wear math find them coming in cheaper than the obvious premium equivalents. There's a US warehouse, a 45-day return window, and a real warranty behind it. The only knock, you have to look a little harder to find it on this side of the Atlantic. Verdict: a climber's brand that never learned to gouge. Alpha brand construction. Attic workshop honesty. Number 2, CRZ Yoga. Remember the leggings we opened with? The $28 pair sitting next to the $98? This is that pair. And the first thing worth knowing is that CRZ isn't some fly-by-night dropshipper riding the dupe wave. It's been making leggings since 2005, older than half the premium brands on the naughty list, and it engineers its own proprietary fabrics rather than just cloning someone else's. Its Butterlux fabric is a near-dead ringer for Lululemon's Wunder Train. Its naked feeling line mirrors the Nulu you find in Aligns, at roughly a third of the price. And this isn't soft on day 1, dead by month 2. Testers have run these through 10+ wash cycles with no pilling and no sag, made in audited, certified factories. They're honest about the ceiling, and so am I. For heavy running and high-impact training, they won't hold structure over years the way proprietary technical fabric does. This is a budget rotation, not an heirloom. But for yoga, daily wear, and the vast majority of what leggings actually do, it's 90% of the $98 pair for $30. Verdict: the dupe economy's crown jewel. If you love the Align feel and hate the Align price, this is the cheat code. Number 1. Girlfriend Collective. CRZ copies the $98 legging for less. Girlfriend Collective does something better than that. It beats it. Start with how this brand even got here, because it's a great story. In 2016, it launched by giving leggings away. You paid only shipping. And it made them out of recycled plastic bottles. Roughly 25 bottles go into a single pair. That stunt built a cult following overnight, and the brand backs it up. It'll take your worn-out leggings back and recycle them into new ones. Now the garment. Put a girlfriend compressive legging next to a Lululemon Align and the fabric blend is almost identical. But the girlfriend pair is built noticeably thicker, triple ply where the Align is single, with reinforced flat fell seams engineered so you can squat and bend without a whisper of see-through. Reviewer after reviewer lands in the same place, cheaper than Lululemon and better made. At $65 to $85, it undercuts the sacred cow. The factories are certified for fair wages and safe conditions, and the size range runs from XXS to 6XL versus Lululemon's 0 to 16. So it actually fits the women the premium brands leave at the door. The one honest limit: for elite level running, it's not as specialized as a proprietary technical fabric. For everything else, it wins. Verdict: better construction, better ethics, wider sizing, lower price, spun from 25 bottles that would have been landfill. This is the exact replacement for the brand we crown number 1 on the other list. The sacred cow has a better, cheaper twin, and now you know its name. 12 brands, 1 test. Take the logo off, cover the waistband, ignore the ad campaign, the celebrity, the storefront. Then ask one question: does the garment underneath still justify the price? For 7 of these, the answer is no. The money is going everywhere except the clothes. For 5 of them, it's yes, because the fabric, the seams, and the sizing were the whole point. You don't have to spend more to dress well. You have to know which number on the tag is the garment and which number is the story. Knowing the brand is only half of it. In the next video, I break down the exact leggings, base layers, and jackets worth buying by budget and by activity, so you never overpay for a waistband again. If this saved you money or made you side-eye a brand you've defended for years, subscribe to Trail Ranked and hit like. We do this every week and we still don't pull punches. And tell me in the comments which one got you, the brand you thought was worth it or the one you didn't expect on the good list. I already know which name is going to start the most arguments.